push it down inside, suck it up.
Just sucked it up and dealt with it. And
people don't ask for help. The EMS humor, and that's how we cope with the tragedy that we deal with. Is you make jokes about it, and that's how you get over it. Before, I would say when I first started with the company, the only thing I knew about was the employee assistance program.
The employees we talk to are the younger generation. The older ones either handle it better, or if they are stuffing it down inside, you don't know it. I think undiagnosed, and that may have been failure on the person's or employee's part to recognize they're being affected, and the people around them not recognizing that they have been affected. At least one employee I can think of, I'll keep it anonymous, I think suffered from PTSD and ended up just getting out of the business. But it affected their health, it affected their mental well-being, their relationships with family.
My last stint, I was actually on with 4 counselors there at the same time who were going over with what I was dealing with, because they're all helping out with different aspects of it. I talk about it. That's the only way to cope with it, is by talking about it. Keeping it bottled up, and that you just bring it home and take it out on your loved ones, and it's not their fault that we chose this line of work. The program's there, and that it's very easy for us to reach out. I mean, it's an 800 number, we call it. It's completely anonymous to the company when we call them that, so it's pretty much between us and the people that we're speaking with on the other line. I've been on some pretty gnarly scenes in that, and my first ever call was an auto versus pedestrian to get actually inundated into the EMS system well over 20 years ago. It's a scene I'll never ever forget. I can close my eyes and still describe it, the whole entire scene from start to finish of what we dealt with, from the scene to transportation to the hospital to the effects afterwards. Being in where I'm at now in that, I'm kind of happy because I don't have to see those. I just hear about them. I don't have to physically see them. So I'm kind of fortunate that I don't have to have that movie reel type setup actually placed into my brain. Of a coping mechanism, you learn to, it's not when bad things happen in life and that you kind of cope with it and you learn how to deal with it and how to work through the situation. Only nice thing is that if somebody else happens to go through what I've gone through, I can at least talk to them about it from a first-hand experience and kind of how I've overcome it, or at least accepted it. No, actually, a guy getting cut in half by his motorcycle and him still being alive for 6 minutes of us being on scene. That was the tough one, because we actually called his wife while he was dying. Having to tell somebody's wife and that their loved one's about ready to die, and for her to shut the F up so he can talk to her before he goes. Yeah, it kind of just sinks into you in that. And, every once in a while when you drive by an accident now, and that's more of a, I hope that person got to speak with their loved one before they went, which doesn't always happen, but you can always hope. It's like somebody's like hitting rewind every time you hit that spot. And it's whether it's like trying to stop that rewind from going, so you try to get through it as fast as possible. So being stuck in traffic in that area on the freeway really sucks. Get help. Don't be afraid. Don't listen to your coworkers that are telling you, hey, you can get through it on your own. Reach out and ask for help. Because whether you think you're strong or not, there's no harm in asking for help. And sometimes that little bit of help will help you get through a lot of more stuff than just what you're dealing with.
They're finding that PTSD is widely disregarded in the first responder community. It's more looked at towards the military, but they're finding that in law enforcement and the fire service and EMS, it actually is very prevalent. We've taken great strides in recognizing when people may need help. We recognize what incidents or what we call trigger events may set a person off that may need help. And some people are afraid to ask. They're afraid of the stigma. They're afraid of not appearing strong enough to do their job. So they don't want to ask for help. So we've done everything we can to take that away and let them know there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with spending 10 or 15 extra minutes to talk it out, take a deep breath, whatever it is that you need to do to help yourself cope with it. Making ourselves available for anybody who wants to talk, making it confidential so they feel they have the ability to talk and not suffer any repercussions for what they think went on in the call, whether they can or cannot do their job, that stigma. Um, we've put it out there on social media. We've educated our supervisors, and like I said, we built a team. Now the team is all peers, employees, with the exception of myself. I'm the only supervisor on our peer support team. All the rest are regular employees that take turns being on call to make themselves available, so that people have the opportunity to get something off their chest. Only that we've only touched the tip of it. I think PTSD in the first responder world, whether it be law enforcement, fire, the military, first responders, it's going to continue. The way that 911 is ran, and I'm being very vague about how 911 is ran, very, very high volume of calls, stressful calls, long shifts, little sleep, not enough rest, not enough eating properly, and then employees who don't know what they got themselves into when they went to school to do this don't take care of themselves in their off time. They don't spend time eating healthy, getting sleep, spending time with family. Your mental wellness has to be taken care of by you so that you can do this job. If you got into this job thinking you were going to be like Johnny and Roy on TV, you're sadly mistaken. It is very high stress. It is very fast paced. There's a lot of stuff that is not fast paced and not stress, and that tends to wear on you. And we're going to call that, I guess, 911 abuse. I can just say anybody who's looking to get in this line of work, you need to prepare yourself and come into the right mentality to be successful at it.